All right, more cheveling today, obviously. So this morning, put a base map tune-up in HP Tuners, and I'm ready to load it. But first, I'm going to fix this hood. It's horrible, and I hate it. So using the Eastwood SCT contour tool with the abrasive disc, take off all this old junk and get this thing down to bare metal because the frame is ready to be painted in the shop. I don't even think I'm gonna put the booth up because it's so nice. I'm just gonna leave all the doors open, spray it, shut them. So real quick, I'm gonna knock that hood down and get it down to bare metal, and then I'm gonna spray black sealer on the hood, and I'm gonna spray the black sealer on the frame. So since I'm spraying it and I don't care about the Chevelle at all, I'm gonna knock the hood down outside and blow it off with air and then spray that outside. I'm gonna come in here, shut all the doors up, spray this thing, and then open everything up and let it breathe, and then close everything back up and turn the heater on, see how it turns out. We'll lay down a couple of coats on that, and then I'm gonna bring the car back in here later while the frame's curing and load that tune-up into the computer, see if it changes the way it's running, and then start laying out interior bits. So polish on the wheels, see if we can get it to cruise around a little bit tonight, and then hopefully a big longer trip out to Silverdale tomorrow. So keep you posted. More stuff later today. Well guys, the hood is knocked down. We touched up some black paint on the insides. It's all taped off. I'm gonna spray that. That's all wiped down and ready to paint. I got the ye old mixing station over here with some cups. We got acetone for cleaning up and wiping everything down prior to going. We got mineral spirits for mixing. We got a mixing jug. We are using Rust-Oleum semi-gloss black, the professional grade stuff. We'll see how the frame turns out. I'm gonna spray it. So I'm gonna let the heater rip for like 30-40 minutes so I go and eat dinner, come back out, spray the hood, spray the frame, get at least the first coat on the top side of the frame, let that dry, flip it over, do the underside, a couple more coats tomorrow, and yeah, but at least tonight the hood of the Chevelle will be black and the O2s are in, and I'm going to try and drive it up to Tom's here in a little bit and give it a shakedown run and see if it's running better now. It was running good before, but let's make sure it's like actually reading and the computer's doing what it's supposed to. So yeah, that's probably one of the last films for the day. We'll see. I might run up to Tom's and check out what they're doing with the A100 and take a little bit of video up there and maybe do a video of the drive, and yeah, that'll be the end of today's fun. Long Saturday, but we'll check back in a little bit. All right, y'all. Saturday night, not horribly late. Trying to get in early, hang out with Alyssa. It's 8:30, so sprayed the frame. There it is in all of its glory. Obviously, it's sopping wet right now, but it will dry satin like the rest of the parts I paint for the Chevelle. The hood came out pretty decent. I laid it on thick. I mean, I put it in there. Tom told me to use a 2.0 tip. As you can tell, it will dry satin. It's starting to tack up because I sprayed this first. I did touch up some other stuff. I hosed the front cowl because it was starting to get a bunch of stuff on it, but it ended up running real bad. So no runs in the hood, but man, the frame turned out good. I did get some runs all over it. I was really trying to figure out how to use that. I haven't shot with that tip before, and I tried to do the Chevelle as a trial run, but there's definitely some runs. Like right there's a big one. But it is what it is, man. It is a truck frame, so we ain't gonna cry over spilt milk here. I think it's gonna look all right. I just need to flip it over, you know, and fix a couple things on it that I can try and get out with the runs, but I still gotta flip it over and do the bottom side. So I'm trying to spray some more on there and bury those runs. This is a bummer. I was trying to touch this up. I mean, I don't think you're gonna get them out. I can try and scuff those off, but this is gonna get put into a wall anyway, so we're not really worried about that. At least it's the hood isn't white anymore. The white was really bothering me. I don't care about the rest of the car. It's all clapped out. Who really cares? But the white and green hood was really ugly. I mean, compared to even the rest of the car. So we just blacked out the nose. And it don't matter because someday down the road I'll shoot it satin metallic green. So that's that. That is the update for tonight. Very excited that the frame is actually in paint for the most part. I'll probably try and do a whole nother coat on it tomorrow on the top side, and then let that cure, and then flip it over Monday and do the whole entire bottom side. Let that cure for 24 hours. In the meantime, me and Joshua can go get the actual truck and bring it down here and start pulling the bumper, the box, and all that stuff, and then I can pull it outside, shoot the frame again so there's no overspray on it, and put it back in here. So that is the last update for tonight. I'm going in. I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow during Cars and Coffee. So let's fingers crossed that the Chevelle makes it all the way out to church in the morning, and then over to Adam and Brooks' store. So I hope to see everybody there. Updates, y'all. It's Monday. Joshua, boom.
Boom.
What are we doing?
We are trying to take this off.
Taking
Without breaking anything.
the bed of the truck off. We did it. The time has come, guys. 2018 GMC Sierra frame swap going down. We're taking the bed off. Joshua washed and cleaned this thing this morning because it's been sitting in the carport. It is literally a brand new truck. What? Did we look at how many miles it had? I think it's got 13,000 miles. It's got no miles. 13,000 miles. Frame. Wasted, obviously. Motor, everything runs, obviously. We drove it in here. So we are going to start labeling all of the wires and components. We have lots, don't we? Me and Joshua don't know what we're doing. We're just going to label everything. 1 million pieces of tape. But right now, Josh is down there undoing bed bolts. We already undid the rear harness. We're going to get some help later today. Pull the bed off tonight. Here's all of the parts we have to go back into it. And we have the front fenders and the new Duramax ram air hood out back in the Conex box. Muscles Malone back here and me flip the frame over and is ready for the bottom side to be coated. So progress. What's our goals? Bed off tomorrow.
Yes.
We are going to finish painting tonight. The bed off tonight. Tomorrow, truck on the rack, and we're gonna try and pull the cab. We'll see.
And
we're probably
labeling all the wires.
Like 10,000 wires labeled. So we will check back in with you guys later tonight. Hopefully, I can call a couple of buddies. I just want to pick the box up with some friends. I don't want to use the lift because I don't want to put anything on the paint. So we're gonna have a couple buddies come lift it up and get the bed off. We'll put all the spare parts in the bed. I have a big rolling cart for the bed to sit on, and then I can just move it around out of my way. By tomorrow, though, we're hoping to have the truck in the lift stall and start pulling the cab. I don't care if we don't, as long as we get every single wire and piece labeled before we pick the cab off. And then we can spend the next 2 weeks probably just one piece at a time on the frame, because we also still are lifting this. So not only do we have to pull the other body completely off the frame and swap part for part, line for line, wire for wire, we also have to pull a suspension lift out of our rear biscuit cheeks and put that on, which is, it's not much more since we already have the suspension off, but it's, another step in the middle of doing a whole frame swap. Or just decided, why not throw some more stuff in? So we'll keep you guys posted. I'll check back in tonight. Sierra updates. Joshua's welding.
Woo!
Learning things. We'll see how that goes. We got the GMC on the rack. Joshua took all the body mount bolts out, and we spent the better part of the morning up above it unhooking wires and electrical connections. Super easy, a lot easier than I thought. So we got the battery box up there, literally just unplugs a couple wires from it, like these guys hanging down. We did the main AC lines and stuff that go to the cab. We have the heater core lines to take off still yet, but underneath there's literally almost nothing. There's one O2 sensor plug down here that goes to the body that we had to unplug. The shift linkage for the selector for the automatic tranny, and the emergency brake cable. That's basically it for underneath these. There's not even grounding straps anywhere that we know of yet until we start to pick it, but we cannot find any other things bolted. 6 main body bolts right here along the bottom of the frame that come out. Boom. All the way down each side, very obvious what they are. So I'll drop it down real quick and I'll show you the top side stuff, because the fuse box in this thing is awesome. GM did an incredible job with how their connectors work. I'll show you in 2 seconds. Okay, so for anybody that was gonna do this GMC frame swap because it got hit or whatever the reasons are, even if you were converting it like we did from 2x to 4x, ours was obviously hit. We saw the frame rails are smoked, but I found a tool drive frame, totally the same frame, just missing the brackets for the 4x diff in the front, and it's really simple to put those in. That was not that big of a deal. If you can weld even a little bit, you can do it. So as far as the truck goes, removing the cab, it seems terrifying at first because, you know, these newer rigs got wires and computers everywhere. I'll walk you around right now and show you the overall basics, what you have to unhook. So the main fuse box that sits up here on the front end is like this. You literally roll these two handles up and the whole entire thing unhooks itself from the base. So the base looks like this, but it has a bunch more plugins in it. And they literally just pinch a tab on the side and slide forward and pop out. So this is the engine harness, super easy. This was the harness that goes to the back of the frame. Main engine harness, secondary something engine harness. It all hooks into this weird base and it's super easy. The way the GM plugs are really incredibly designed, where you literally just flip this piece up and then they pop off. And then if you want the bases out, you literally, like on this one, you'd go up here and pinch that gray piece and then slide the whole thing forward and it'll just come right out. In this case, this part obviously stays with the truck. You can see harness stays with the frame and the motor. PCM for the motor stays with the motor. The only things you really have to unhook over here are the master cylinder itself. We're just going to unbolt so we don't have to bleed the brakes from each side of the booster and let it hang. We had to unhook firewall computer because one of the harnesses stays with the other harness. The front end harness, I literally just took the whole plug out and walked the whole harness over and put it in the back of the car. Obviously, we had to undo this bulkhead for air conditioning, and we just put bags over the line so we weren't getting any contaminants in there. It's bolted to the battery box up there, 2 spots. We undid the harness from it and just kind of laid it off to the side. This is the box that goes on top of the battery. I have no idea why they have so much weird stuff on top of the battery, but this is it. So in this area, we just unbolted the 3 main power wires that stay to the motor and they go off to the side. This piece is going to stay with the cab and the battery box because we're not taking it off, and it just goes into the inside of the cab. So we just laid that off to the side. Battery box stays. Worked our way down the firewall. This harness down here that goes to the O2 sensor is just stuck on studs. You literally just pull the harness off. It's the ground wire and the wires for the O2 sensors. They just lay off to the side. They stay with the motor. So everything from the cab perspective is loose. 6 bolts along the bottom of the cab. Boom, 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 boom. 6 big bolts come out, super easy. The bed, same way, it was super easy. It was, what, 6 bolts as well, Josh? 4 bolts? Yes, 4 or 6 bolts. I think it's 6 bolts because there's 2 up front, 2 in the rear, 2 here. And then this truck had tow pack. So Joshua took that off this morning. You can pull the bed without it. We pulled the bed, 6 bolts. There's the wires for the bed are right here. You literally just unplug, 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 because ours is like the fully loaded model. It's got backup camera, parking sensors, lane assist sensors, and taillights and trailer plug-in. So super easy. Just pull the clips, pop them down. If they're the red ones, you pull them out, push them in. They come out really easy. It does have a mass amount of computer and weird stuff. I don't even know. There's just so much stuff on these trucks. But the tow hitch off. It's tied to the bumper brackets. Bumper brackets off. We put all of our bolts back so we know where they go. We drop the spare tire. It makes it a lot easier, and it's 2 seconds to do. Literally just put your key in the spare tire hole in the bumper, pull a plug out, and then just drop the spare tire down. That was the back. The back was super easy. The cab, super easy. Giant pucks, really easy. Yeah, Joshua already took loose all of this. We got this out of the way just so we could access the bolts easier. So we are ready to pull the cab at this point. It was not bad. It's been what? We did the bed yesterday in about an hour and a half just to get it loose, and then a couple buddies to pick it up. This I've been working on between being out in and out with the baby and taking her to preschool, like 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe. And the front clip was already off this truck because I pulled it off last year after we got it, after it had been wrecked, to check the frame out. But I mean, that's real simple. And I'll go through the process of how that came off when we put it back together, and you can just kind of reverse see how we did it. But it's really simple on these because there is no inner structure. So once you remove the front fenders, the grill, the core support, I mean, I took it off. I literally just took off the hood, the fenders, the bumper, and left the core support for like almost a year. I was driving around the yard with just the core support and the radiator and stuff hooked up. It was only a few months back, or I guess, well, it's been more than a few months now, when me and the old man took it down to his house and we pulled the front core support just to inspect the frame more, and decided it's probably a good idea to buy a whole different frame. So instead of trying to fix this one. But that's it for this episode of the old GMC Sierra frame swap. All this is going to be on the YouTube channel. I will do it in a series starting from when we picked the truck up to where we are now. So if you guys want to subscribe and follow along, we should have the frame painted. I'll probably paint it tomorrow. I think Wednesday's supposed to be sunny, so I'm going to open the doors up tomorrow night and paint the rest of the frame and get it curing, and then do the lift kit brackets on, you know, the front half of the frame and get that done. And then tonight I will have the cab completely off, hanging on the rack, and I'll move the frame next door. And then next week, probably starting on Monday when Josh was back, we will put the two frames next to each other and just start one for one swapping everything. And we will cover that in depth in video so that hopefully it helps somebody out along the way. Till then, I'll see you guys later tonight. All right, so this is the most stressful part. We got the lift placed where we feel it won't hurt anything. We put it on two body mount structures. We almost had a problem because we were almost touching this pad with this side with the foot. At first seemed like it wasn't picking up right, and it's because it was touching on the other side. So make sure when you put your lift pads in, you're not interfering with anything on the frame. But as you can see, once it starts coming up, tons of room. You can start inspecting for wires. Me and Joshua have been all over this thing to make sure that nothing, we've gone up an inch at a time, make sure that nothing's grabbing. Like I said, we just unhooked the master from the booster. So the lines and brake lines, everything don't need to be bled. Fuel lines are still hooked up. We just washer line, hood pop, emergency brake cable, and then at the back you can see no grounding straps. You can see all the way down through nice and clean. It's all coming up smooth. I got the shift linkage just draped over the center where it's not going to catch. I'll watch it as it comes up. We got the cab on the pads. See, it's how close it is to the frame pads. We just got to make sure that we're not touching any of that stuff on the way up with our lift. Right now I think we're totally clear, and I always like to come up about an inch too, and then I also like to get the frame or the truck or whatever's on the lift up and give it a good shaking and make sure it's sturdy and it's not going to wobble or fall off. But as of right now, we got a cab off a frame. Success, bud. Now's a good time to stop again, check and make sure the cab doesn't rock weird on the lift. We don't want to lose this cab at all. Josh, we're gonna grab that tranny line and pull it off to the side so we don't catch anything. Thanks, yep. Alright, now lift, put it back on the locks. Now, I cannot stand leaving things like that. So that's terrifying that the whole expensive part of the truck is sitting in the air 6 feet off the ground. So what we're gonna do real quickly now is we're gonna turn the camera off. We're gonna roll the frame back. We're gonna stick the frame on wheel dollies, and we're gonna put the frame right here in this stall. And then I'm gonna lower that cab back down all the way onto the stops. That way that no one can bump it or knock it off or do anything crazy. So we're gonna do that. And then, yeah, it seems like right now, this is what we get to look forward to. We got a completely gutted truck with the frame, with all of its business. And now we just need to take all of this and one for one swap it into that. So, a lot of work. Woo! He's ready. He's young. He's got all the energy. I don't got that kind of energy. I'm gonna be working on this every night while he's gone. So the good news is, it's all new stuff, and it's so clean. And every bolt we've taken out's been pretty straightforward and easy because the truck's only got 13,000 miles. So now we really get to take our time and just one for, if I don't have to unhook anything, if I can take the tank and all the fuel lines in one shot with the motor and have 5 friends here, I'll do anything I can do to lighten our load where we're not unhooking more stuff than we have to on this truck. I am going to pull everything in as much completeness as I can get. Motor, tranny, transfer case, you know what I mean? Exhaust and all that, one shot. And, you know, drive line, rear diff, brake lines, everything I can do in one shot, we're gonna do it. So stay tuned. We'll go on to part 1 million whatever of this build. But the next couple weeks are going to be the good videos. That's where it's going to start really taking shine, where the frame is starting to start getting the lift kit, the wheels, the tires, the motor, the tranny, the fuel system, and then we'll get it back over here and drop this body back down and hook up all the wires and the radiator and the core support and fire it back up, and then I can start mocking on sheet metal. But the next 2 or 3 videos will be a lot of swapping, and then in a couple weeks from now, the next videos after that will be pretty awesome. So anyway, we will check back in with you guys later.